Thanks for joining me, Oliver. I mean, how could we not talk to the most informed driver in the world of Formula E right now? I've got some questions for you, but first I kind of want to go with a stat attack just to massage your ego slightly, because we are 7 races into this championship and you've been on the podium for 5 of them, 3 of them being race wins. I mean, do things get better than that apart from winning every race?
No, they don't. I mean, we couldn't have really dreamt of the start that we've had. So, yeah, those stats are good. And I was looking at some others the other day. I think I've done like 12 podiums in 17 races since I've been back at Nissan. So it's been a really, really good start to life back at Nissan. And we're really proving that this year. I think we've got a healthy lead in the championship, and we seem to be on form most places we go.
48 points is a very healthy lead. But it's interesting you say that about joining when you rejoined the team, because that kind of marks the Gen 3 era, Gen 3 EVA era. What is it about this car generation that seems to be suiting you so well?
I think it's hard to say. Honestly, I think from Gen 2 when I was with Nissan, I had a pretty good performance straight away. You know, I had Buemi as a teammate who was a really good reference, so I was able to learn a lot. But I think Nissan slipped away over the Gen 2 generation, and actually in like season 6 and 7, I feel like I was performing at a similar level, let's say, but I just didn't have the package underneath me. And then obviously I spent a year and a half at Mahindra again with slightly uncompetitive package, and then I think Nissan have just been able to up their game in terms of team operations, in terms of efficiency, car design, all that sort of stuff, and now they've put themselves in a place where the car's super competitive, and obviously on the back of that I've gained confidence, and I think the races now, how tactical they are and how backwards and forwards you can go and remaining composed seems to suit my style quite well.
I mean, there's suiting your style, there's performance, but it's also the consistency. You know, we don't often see in Formula E the level of consistency that you and the team have shown this early in the season. Now, what do you put that down to? Because it seems to be across whatever circuit you go to.
I think it's experience. You know, come into the tracks that you've been to before, you know what you require from the car, you know what's required from the track. But also when you come to new places, you know how to approach it, you know roughly what you want from the car given the layout from the simulator. And I just think it's applying all those different things and just been hungry for success, I guess. I mean, I've been here quite a long time, I still don't have a championship, so it's I'm really focused on trying to maximise every small detail that I can get, and you know, Formula E is my only focus as well, which I think helps in that respect.
Well, that being said, even with the consistency, even with the points lead, based on conversations with you and Tommaso, you're still not getting ahead of yourself when it comes to thinking about that championship.
No, I mean, honestly, my mentality now is to keep attacking, is to not really change anything. I'm not going to start to become conservative, because I've seen many sports over the years and how pressure and thinking about these things and trying to engineer them too much can actually be a downfall. So for me, I'm going to go out there and race just as I have been from the beginning of the season. Hopefully we can keep the results up. My current goal is to extend to the point where it makes things quite easy at the end.
Well, that might be a good strategy, knowing that behind you, between 2nd and 10th, there's just 36 points. So there's a whole, you know, half the grid basically gunning for you at the top. So, and as we know, things can change pretty quickly in Formula E.
Yeah, and I think also the layout this year of the way the attack mode is, positions are normally a little bit more jumbled because people can go back and forth. Last year you could kind of manage the races a bit better, a bit easier from the front, especially as like a team you could back up for the attack mode and help out to keep in the top 3. I think this year it's quite a lot harder because you have people coming from 10th in races to take the lead, and it's really difficult to manage. So I don't expect to see, although I've done it so far, is people going on these runs like Antonio did last year.
Sure. Okay, well, let's talk about this weekend then, because we're going into a doubleheader in Tokyo. Of course, it's a home race for the team. Last year was a pole position, but narrowly missed out on the race win. I imagine you got lots of extra motivation for this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's a track that I really enjoy. I think the layout is really tight, technical, twisty. It rewards bravery, so I think from a one-lap perspective it's something that I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, last year I think the mistake was obviously trying to lead the whole race and thinking that people weren't going to be able to overtake. In the end I just ended up with too much of an energy deficit, but honestly this year the race is going to be so much different. On Saturday it looks like we've got pit boost, we've got this new attack mode that's much more powerful. It looks like it's going to be completely wet, a washout on Saturday, so Saturday's race is completely different to anything we experienced last year, so the key will be to just do a good qualifying and try and stay in the hunt during the race.
I know that will certainly be pleasing for the home crowd, because last year those grandstands were filled with red flags, Nissan logos. I mean, what does it add to having that support?
Yeah, it's mega. You know, every time we come here most years, you know, as a kind of pre-season event here, and we go to the Nismo Festival, and there they have like 60-70,000 fans there just
Wow.
for kind of displaying the cars and driving them around the track. So I think having that support here is really important, and we need to hopefully use the energy that they bring to give us good results.
They're motorsport mad here, aren't they, as well, the Japanese?
They are, yeah.
It's good to see. Let's talk a little bit more then. You mentioned about how the races could be different in this doubleheader this weekend. So let's go a bit further into strategy. How, outside of the rain or weather, how might the two races differ with the pit boost and then on the Sunday's race?
I think the pit boost race will be all about timing your pit stop and your attack modes in the right way to either gain positions or stay towards the front. If it's wet, it's going to be a lot different because the pit stop will come quite late, I think. I think as long as there's not too many safety cars or focus yellows, the race could be quite spread out at that point, so it'd be a little bit easier and less pressured, let's say. But I think the second race will be similar to last year's race, where it's not easy to pass but possible, but then with the attack mode it's going to be easy to come through quickly. So it's going to be about kind of saving enough energy to be efficient in attack mode.
I was going to ask you which of those you prefer, but based on your stats and performance, seemingly either.
Yeah, I mean the pit boost race obviously adds an element of complexity, which is more pressure, but I quite like. The other race is more of a traditional Formula E race. For me on this track, I think the pit boost one will be slightly better because I think it allows a little bit more scope for movement up and down the field in terms of pitting and taking the attack mode and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, and finally, I don't want to speak too early because as we know, a lot can happen in Formula E and often does in this championship. But what would it mean to you to win the championship?
Yeah, it would obviously mean a lot. I mean, as I said before, I've been here quite a long time now. I've had some tough years, some pretty good years, but also some tough years. So I think to kind of reward myself with a championship win would mean a lot. It's not something that I've really thought about how I would feel at the moment because I'm that focused on the end goal, but just briefly thinking like when I left Mahindra mid-season and risked not having a contract and didn't know if my career would continue, that was a lot of stress, and it was a lot of unknowns for me, for my family. So to be able to do the full round circle and come back and win the championship would just be amazing.
It's been amazing to watch because we all know you've got the talent, you've got the pedigree, and now you're backing it up with performances. It's been great to watch, and hopefully we'll see more of the same.
Thank you very much,
Cheers,
mate.
mate.
Cheers. Thank you.